Good morning. Good morning. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. Wintertime on the East Coast. You can see the sunrise just upon us. So we're going to start this video off. And today we're going to talk about maturity. Look at this shit here. What is this car doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Drive, motherfucker. Are you high, motherfucker? Step on the gas. Jesus, Mary, of course you're going to go through the light. What a prick. Oh, gosh. Look at this here. High in the morning, ain't warm your car up, nothing. And look at it. Look at it. Everybody's got to go to work, and Junebug over there, high as he can be. Any which way. Okay, maturity. Well, you might say, well, that wasn't mature thing to do. Yeah, well, being angry, you got to go to work and prioritizing getting to work and driving the speed limit is mature. Driving under the speed limit, I don't think is mature. And this is my channel. I get to decide the rules. Fuck it. Any which way, we're going to talk about maturity. There's emotional maturity, which you may question whether I have that, considering my angry outburst there. And I'm willing to concede to that might be qualified as not having emotional maturity. I doubt that. I think that's just not having any damn patience, which is not an emotional maturity issue. It's the ability, like this lady crossing the street here. She has the right of way. There's no point just because I have to rush. She's a human. But I don't think that definitely is a sign of emotional immaturity, because I do have to go to work. And this person does have the ability to step on the gas and get where they have to get. But you got people like that, man. Just people who out there out to make the world more aggravating for everyone. Any which way, let's continue on. In maturity, there are different types of maturity. There is the maturity that we all quantify, such as maturity from growing from a child into a young adult, puberty, and the medical development of testosterone, facial hair, pubic hair, breast budding from females. In the formulation of breast tissue, they go from a chicken chest to breast, and that is part of what we consider maturation. And in this society, we see that more prevalent than we see cognitive maturation. And cognitive maturation, for me, has always been something that I've coined wanting this. Look at this mother. He's still here. It's the same Honda over here to the right. The same Honda. Oh, I got to get the hell away from this person, because I can't start off the morning like this. I can't start off the morning. I want to see what this person looks like. Of course, it's all tinted up. Got it. Any which way. Now, see, being angry in a car is different than getting out and trying to confront a person. That is where the emotional maturity does not go, because, for one, that is being road raging, but no one knows I'm cursing in the car but myself and the audience right now, of course. So going back to what we're talking about is that the development of the cognitive maturity, the ability to grow and understand life as we progress into what we consider adulthood, which in some cases, an adult used to be 18, and then after, I think sometime under Bush, an adult was 25 because you could be on your parents' health insurance. 26, I guess, during Obama time, and I'm loosely quoting here, so those people who are avid, political and legislative makers that are going to say he's wrong, it was during this time, it was that, okay, I got you. But the whole point is that 18 was considered an adult at one point. By the time I was born in 1981, the legal drinking age actually was 18. It was only moved up to 21, I believe, in 84. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams for giving me that little tidbit of information. And that was interesting, because I had not known that. I knew it, but I did not know it presently in my mind. It was something I forgot throughout time. It wasn't something that important. So the maturity that we're talking about, the cognitive maturity, or the ability to obtain wisdom through life experience. Now, if you listen to any videos I've done before, a lot of things that I've talked about are going to roll into this video right now. And this is some reason why you watch, because this, as Don Coombs said, Don, I hope you're listening to this one, because here you get your flowers. This is life teaching, life coaching. This is again me living through adulthood for 20 something years and lived it, not at mommy and daddy's house, not just because I got a job. I didn't take the path where after college I didn't have any road bump to getting my degree. I didn't have to overcome any challenges. I didn't have to overcome any failures. Many of my videos have talked about my failures into becoming just getting the license of a nurse. Not being the greatest test taker, but being the better clinician, the person who could save a life. But taking the test and making the test questions answerable. I've seen people take tests, and when you're having a heart attack or a stroke, or you need CPR, you need to have the defibrillator attached to you, and those compressions needing to be started. The test taker, I aced the test and got my license, mommy. Those people tend to do one of three things, which I talked to my mother about the other night. They'll do one of three things when people see an emergency happen. When we're starting to see more of that now, when life starts to get serious, you start to see people by their feet. What do I mean by that? You look at people's feet when things happen. When a disaster happens, most people do what? Run away, right? When a person's needing CPR, most nurses, you think every nurse is well equipped, but they're not. Most nurses will take a step back. Other nurses will sit there and stand in fear. And you got a select few who will actually run into the room or get to the action. When I say get to the action, I mean somebody that's going to start CPR, chest compressions, and start taking the leadership role before the doctors get to the room. Yes, the nurses are required through ACLS, Advanced Cardiovascular Life-Saving Measures. We are starting the ACLS process before the true decision makers get there. But we are the decision makers, the team leader, until the team leader arrives. We're supposed to initiate the code and begin the life-saving measures, which are more crucial in that time period than the medication that could or eventually will come. But the CPR, initiating CPR, is much different than the classroom setting or the online virtual learning environment that you learn from. When you got to really get in there and it starts happening and you see the person not breathing, or the person, they're looking like death is in the room, you start to see the reality of what the virtual classroom cannot give you. When you see it, when your emotions are involved, you now have to have that steady hand. Everybody can do it when it's a practice. Look at this shit here, man. Here we are, merge-ola here, and the car in the merging lane, the car that was already in the right lane will not, and I repeat, will not actually speed up to let the other car go in there. The other car had to decrease their rate of speed, which is dangerous to do. We talk about this all the time. Will decrease their rate of speed and not be able to keep up with the flow of traffic, which is going much faster than the decreased rate of speed. I got somebody speeding up behind me, no lights on, riding my ass right now. So the whole point is that people will tend to step back because of fear or anxiety. They want to let other people do the work. Other people are rushing in because they have probably enough experience. They've been in codes before. They understand to respond. And even some people who are not experienced, they still are responders to crises that happen. And you see that in life. When you haven't lived experience, you're not mature enough to understand and how to deal with crises in life. You're not. What you're doing is you're living life through the safety, the bumper. You're playing bowler bowling with the bumpers on in life, and you don't have any risk because there's nothing you can lose because there's no challenge. There's nothing at stake. You're playing it safe the whole time. And what you start to see is people develop this false sense of the world and the realities that are there. People think that their degrees match up and give them true power in life. And that's not always the case, because you have a degree, you're better than a man. And I see this all the time. You're better than a man who does construction because I don't want a guy with that job. Well, what income do you qualify for? Because a lot of times you want guys with higher levels of income, but higher levels of income come with their qualifications that those men want too. And a lot of people do not understand that what you want in life, there is a price that has to be paid. I tell you all the time, you want to become a doctor? Well, you have to pay the price to be in school for longer than it does to get a 4-year degree. That is required. It's not rules I set up, it's rules they have set up. You want to become a pilot? Good, you can get your pilot's license, but what does it also require you to do? Have thousands of hours of flight time. And why is that? Because you need to gain experience. It's not enough just to pass the class, because what happens when you fly? The winds are not always the same. The wind doesn't blow the same way. You could ride a current and a side draft could come. There are things that could happen mechanically with the airplane, and you have to make adjustments. We talked about that before. And what people want is, again, what I've always quoted. They wanted authority without responsibility. They want the degree without the responsibility of knowing what to do that comes along with the degree when things go inevitably wrong. And leadership is required. Not guidance, leadership is required. And people are looking to those leaders, the people that hold those degrees up high, and say, give me the answer. What do we do? And then you can see leaders who take, just like I said, there are 3 types of leaders, right? There are people who are authoritative. You have to go through them, micromanagers, if you want to call it. There are people who are laissez-faire, which they kind of lead from way, way in the back. Let everybody do what they want. They want everything to be a family and a home and all of this stuff. And yet there is no clear guidance on where the authority is, other than I only have the ability to be fired by you, but I don't have the ability to be inspired by you through your leadership abilities. And you'll see places like this because there are a lot of interpersonal dysfunction in the workplace. Because again, there is no rooster in the roost. So I say again that you also have to learn experience. You got to gain experience in life. And that will help your maturity in life. But you got people, they live at their parents' homes until, 30, 40, or go back into their parents' homes. And then what do the parents do? They're having a problem because the kids have lacked motivation to work and get out there and make something of themselves. And I'm not just talking about men, I'm talking about women too. Because it's easy to just say, marriage has gotten uncomfortable, it's time for me to go. I can do better. Well, you did do better because you picked the best option for you. And if the best option was a 3-time felon or thugalicious or somebody else or was a carpenter or somebody who had to go and do a 9 to 5 or weigh 300 pounds, then baby, that's the best you've done. That is your best. There's no do-overs for my best. And the problem is everybody thinks that life now is pretty much walking through a mall and window shopping and you can pick your order. Amazon made it so you could buy a product, but that's not life. That it gets delivered same day. You don't get life results on Amazon. Life is not Amazon Prime, where you can get it next day shipping. You can get a degree next day shipping. You can get success next day shipping or same day delivery. You got to put time in. And if you're not willing to put the time in, then you're going to get the results of having pretty much being lazy with spending or dedicating time towards your success. And that's the problem. Everybody's made a get rich quick. I have never seen more scams and schemes for people to just sit. They will rather try to risk scamming and do more time in prison than they will do more time invested in themselves to change their life so they never have to do it again. They'd rather scam you than risk being scammed because they have enough income to better themselves. And I mean, some of the scams are so elaborate, you will wonder, it is a true sign of intelligence. How come these people can't put that to better use? Again, because it will require hard work and effort down the road. It's easy in the beginning because even when you get a degree, the classes are easier in the beginning. They get tougher as more time goes on, because your level of knowledge has been built up where now you get to the upper level and you need to be tested on your knowledge. You need to recall. That's why the classes don't start off in trigonometry in kindergarten. They start off with basic concept of numbers and colors. Those colors get incorporated when you have to do PowerPoint presentations in college. So those colors come back around. But I say again, folks, you need to invest in time and experience. Experience will always get you through, because life, the more you've experienced, the more you've been tested. They say iron sharpens iron, but iron is formed over time. You don't get iron unless certain chemical compounds are formed under certain conditions that create iron, and more of it is created, but not all iron is strong. Some iron is stronger than other iron. Shout out to Eric Kennedy. I'm going to land my plane there, folks. I'm on the ride to work right now. As you can see, looking at the fauna here, the trees are already turning. It is fall season now. You've seen me do this drive in 2023. Now you see me do this drive in 2024. And you can already see I started off in this time period when I started showing you these drives. And now you're looking at a year later, you can see how quickly, once the temperature, that's 45 degrees right now, this morning at 7:13. And you can see how quickly it's changing. Last week, I want to say maybe Thursday or Friday, it was like 80 degrees. And only getting into 60s. The turning of the seasons happens so quickly in the Northeast. Take a look at that. These videos during these months, watch the trees and the leaves. Any which way, folks, Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, AncestryLands.com. I appreciate you sitting through this video, learning and obtaining knowledge. I always said something when I was younger, and I love this saying: a word from the wise, a word of wisdom will always be peace to your mind. What does that mean? That means that wisdom will bring you peace and tranquility if you follow it, because wisdom is learned through experience. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, AncestryLands.com. Remember, my book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, is on Amazon. The link is in the description section below. You like and share, share this everywhere. We're international now, folks. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, and I'm out. Peace.